And rolling.
Okay, and as we wait for people to settle, let's take a deep breath and be present where we are. Look around, see who is here, where we are. Know that the divine presence is in and through all of us and everything. And that as we gather here this evening, there is that presence that flows in us, and that we come here for joyful laughter, for learning, and for sharing. And that which is shared is from the heart. And I know that this is true, and I know that the divine presence flows through each one of us and walks with us as we move forward. And I'm grateful that everyone is here. I know that tonight unfolds perfectly with divine guidance and inner knowledge for each person present. And I know that this is true. I know that there is the light that shines within each of us. And I hold that close to my heart, and I know that as I release these words into law, that it is acted upon with that knowledge and with divine gift. And I say, and so it is.
And so it is.
So, again, these are amazing to hold and to, I kind of feel like they're my personal energy chargers every morning. So I appreciate that. Do you want to pass them around again and hang on to them and bless them?
That was a quick answer.
Okay. Infuse that energy. So, John has a couple of things he would like us to do this evening. One is a recap. And go through that, but before I do that, let me just say that next week is the celebration where we open the envelopes and we discuss those things that may have happened or happened for us that we know to be true already. You may already have experienced some awareness of what you were treating for with that. And so I'm excited to hear about people's experiences. And we will have food, and it'll be a celebration. It'll be a little bit informal, kind of buffet-ish type of thing. But so I hope that you all come back and do that with us and hold everybody. And then don't forget, I'm supposed to announce the Fire Walk, which you all know about, which is on July 18th, and it's the beginning of the Prosperity Series. And that's an amazing, everyone here has walked? No? Who hasn't walked? Ah, really? I'm surprised. I guess I'd assumed.
No.
Yes?
Nah.
You're still like, I haven't walked.
I still haven't walked.
Okay. So let's just recap real quick, and then we'll walk into one of John's exercises. Does anyone have any questions first? Any comments? Any exciting things since Monday's class? Because I heard Barbara's class was just knocked down amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone just automatically goes to that place and they're like, yeah, it's great. Yes?
Yeah, I think both of these classes are just in sync with each other. It's like
I agree.
we're getting the whole in touch, feely practice. Like when in the Mystic class,
Yeah.
you know, you get in touch with that, and then you got the other side. You got the, you know, almost the right brain side, and you got the left brain side go on. It's like it's really getting it in practice, and it's like really just working.
Well, that's really nice feedback. That's great. Anyone else have any comments, suggestions, awarenesses, insights? Manifestations since the class has started? You've been putting this in practice. Anything that you would want to share? No? No? Okay.
I don't know if they have something, they're all talking over there.
You were talking while I was talking?
It was my fault. My fault.
Okay.
I thought Barbara said there wasn't any class last Monday, so I didn't come. And Mommy's very confused.
Oh, you didn't go to class on Monday and you
Yeah.
thought tonight was our last night?
Yeah.
It's okay. For some reason, it's good. You know that you're in that personal
I'm
process.
somewhere else.
You were here in spirit.
Yes.
That's right.
So remember, there's the 4 Ps, right? Personal, present, precise, and
Positive.
positive. And then we treat for health, wealth, relationships, and
Self-expression.
self-expression. And life unfolds, let me say this, life unfolds in perfect alignment with our consciousness at the level of our awareness. That's the key, at the level of our awareness. And so we talked a lot about that last week, and we're not going to go into all of that again. But that's something to keep in mind, because if you're treating for one thing, and then you turn around and you criticize yourself or someone else, then that's the level of your awareness, and that's where the treatment goes. So the goal is to stay positive. And at the same time, there's a concern about recognition of, of pain. There's, maybe Barbara talked about this too in her class. It's like, what do we do when we know that there is an actual circumstance that's actually happening, right? Accidents happen and people break their arms and things go on and pain happens. And so what do we do with all of that?
We focus on what's working.
Pardon?
We focus on what's working, like this arm is doing great.
Exactly, and John talks about that in this chapter. And so you focus on what is working, or you focus on the perfection of what is, because that's not a bad thing, right? It just is. It just is. And so I think all of us have circumstances where we know someone who's been encountering a challenge of some sort, and that there's a question about how that happens. And Barbara and John are much more eloquent in the way that they explain that. But for me, it's everyone's in their perfect and right place, right? It could be a ceiling fan that broke, or there's plumbers at my house, like right now, literally. And I had to leave, and I was like, please don't let my cats out the door like that. But it's like everything's in its perfect and right place. So are my animals, right? And if something, who knows? They get out and run, perfect and right place. And whatever lesson that will be for me, that will be my lesson if something unfolds. And I've believed that for a long time. And so I focus on what's right, right? And so I'm so grateful the plumbers are at my house. I can't even tell you that I'm grateful, because it was a flyby. They were at the house next door, and then they were next door, and I was like, hey. Hey. I have to leave in 15 minutes. However, would you take a look? And he was like, I can fix that in an hour. So there you have it. And I think everything works out exactly the way it's supposed to.
Well, you manifest the plumber.
I know it.
And you didn't
And
get your
a-
one.
And a really nice guy. Yeah. And so.
How powerful are you?
I know it. I know it. But did I manifest the leak that I've had literally for a year? I know.
Things are different then.
So, but do we do that? Like we talked about this last fall in the Troward class, because I had that experience, because I tend to move really, really quickly, and once I get moving, I'm like, I'm in a hurry, and everything was a crisis, and who was here and heard that story? So is it okay if I briefly recount it? Yeah. Is it? So I haven't told it since. So if you remember, but I had to get, my sister was transitioning, and I had to get to Minnesota, and there was a friend who was in Rochester at the Mayo Clinic, and I wanted to go see her. She had asked that I come and sit with her for a bit before I went further north in Minnesota. So I get to the airport, and drop my stuff and I get out of the car and I just run into the airport with my stuff and throw it on there, and I'm on the plane to Minnesota and everything is good. I get my rental car and I'm headed towards Rochester, but I'm running late. I've been running late all day. I'm running late to the airport because I went all the way to Greensville, and then the plane goes and we get there and I get the rental car and all of this stuff. So the trip goes as planned overall, but I'd started the whole trip this way. And then it was time to leave, and I was reluctant to leave Bemidji and leave my sister, who transitioned about a month later. But so I left a little bit late to get back to Rochester. And I didn't have a hotel because I thought I'd get there in time to get one. But I left late, and it took me a little bit longer to get to Rochester for whatever reason. And so I was in Rochester, and I got there after the hospital closed, so I couldn't see my friend that time. And I found this hotel online, and I drove over there. I thought, if anything's by the hospital, it's going to be good. No, that's not true. That's not true. This was a scary, scary place. But so I just got it, and I'm like, okay, and I walk by guys drinking beer in the parking lot on the front step of the hotel, and I go in and I get my room, and I'm like, can I have extra coffee? Because there's no coffee pots in the room. I'm like, it's that kind of place. And so I lay on the comforter, I don't go to sleep. Anyway, so I get up in the morning, I said, can I have a wake-up call at like 5, because I have to make a plane in Minneapolis, it's about an hour away. And she said, yeah, so she knocking on my door in the morning at 5, and she's giving me a cup of coffee. I was like, how sweet is that, right? So that kind of started it, but I was stressed out and I couldn't see my friend in Rochester. Got in the car and I started to go, and I was driving really fast because I was running late, and I got pulled over. I got pulled over and I started crying because I was stressed out with my sister and stuff. And so I knew I was only going 72 miles an hour because I had a cruise control in a 50.
Allegedly.
He pulls me over and he rolls down the window and he says, do you know how fast you're going? And I was like, 72. And I'm sobbing, and he gets my stuff and he comes back, but he just gives me a warning. And he says, if you put your cruise control on 60, you'll still, I'm like, explained it to him. I've got to make a flight in Minneapolis. He goes, you'll still probably you'll get there on time. It'll be okay. And so I'm like, okay. And so I do that, and I get there, and I'm stressed out because the flight, I've only got like 45 minutes. I have to go through security, and I've got everything. So I grab my bags, and I get to the rental car place, and I'm like, I just park, because there was a car there, but as I park, this car moves out. And this lady, this big lady goes, hey, pull that car up. And I'm already out with trying to, and I was like, okay. And she's like, I'll do it, it's okay. And so she gets back in the car, and then I'm standing there, and she helps me with my bags, and then I'm still standing there, and she goes, okay, and I was like, okay, so I start walking away, and she goes, oh wait, you forgot your coffee mug. And so I get my coffee mug, and then I forgot my charger. And I kept saying, I gotta go, like this. And she goes, do you know where you're going? And I was like, no. I start crying again. So I finally get to where I'm going, and I throw the bag up, and they're like, go to the gate, go to the gate. So I run the O.J. Simpson, and I'm at the gate, and I go through and security and everything, and I get on the plane, and the plane doesn't take off. And it doesn't take off, and it doesn't take off. And then they switch out this sweet lady next to me, and some guy sat there. And the pilot was like, yeah, we've got some problems. Didn't believe him, but didn't care, because I was like, I just wanted to get home. And the guy, I was like, this is weird, don't you think? He was like, like that. And then the plane finally took off, and I get home and my car battery is dead. And since I had left the light on when I got out at 4:30 in the morning in Greenville or whatever. And so then everything, I went back in, I said, don't suppose you guys can jump a car? And they were like, actually, we can. And they were so excited to be helpful. And so they beat me back to the car. And they jumped it, and I was able to make it home, and I just left my stuff and got upstairs, and I went to bed. I was exhausted. I just felt like I was like, everything had gone wrong. Everything had gone wrong, when in fact, everything worked out to my benefit. But what happened was that when I finally opened my suitcase the next morning, they had ripped through that suitcase. And one of the reasons I was late leaving Bemidji, Minnesota was that there is a Native American person that I know that sells pipestone. And I had stopped and I had bought 3 pounds of pipestone. And each of those blocks of pipestone were wrapped in newspaper. And I realized that it was me that held up that plane. Right? And it was because I bought the pipestone in Bemidji before I left for Rochester that I was running late. Because I was talking to him, and that took some time to get the pipestone. And pipestone is a very sacred stone up north. It is everywhere, actually.
It's called pipestone? P-I-P-E?
Yeah, it's what they carve the pipes out of.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's the carving stone for sacred artifacts. And so I had these 3 pounds individually wrapped, and I know now that when they sent my bag through, it looked like blocks of something else. And so all along, it was me who had created every step of the way. And it was so clear to me that it was all in the level of my awareness.
And the guy that was next to you was a sky marshal.
Yeah, I know,
The guy that was next to me was a marshal, yeah. Yeah.
So you were saying this is weird, he's like,
Yeah, but I recant that story because had I stopped and prayed and meditated, I probably would have come to that awareness long before I got home and looked in my suitcase. But every step of the way was created out of my own level of my own awareness. Yeah.
Can I just ask, was it caused by the fact that you were late and you were rushing? And if you had allowed yourself a whole lot of time, none of these things would have happened?
I don't think it was the time factor at all. I think that
anxiety,
pardon?
the anxiety involved.
It was the anxiety involved.
Ah.
Yeah, it was this stress around my sister transitioning, a close friend who was in Rochester having special tests done. It was all of this stuff, but none of it really had to do with any of them. It all had to do with me and my level of my awareness.
Wow.
Because I did pray and meditate, and I did do those things, but the level of my awareness was nowhere near what I could have raised it to had I really slowed down and focused, and I never focused.
Oh, okay.
Yes, B.
So what do you mean by your level of awareness?
My level of awareness was, I have to get here, I have to do this, I have to make a plane, I have to be with my sister, I have to be with my friend. I can't believe I'm getting pulled over, oh my God,
Okay.
like that.
As
And
opposed
to-
to you, as opposed to what?
As opposed to everything will unfold perfectly in the perfect divine path that I know I'm on.
So it's being
And
centered.
it did, just with hesitations. And each time it was shown to me that everything works out perfectly for me. And each time I fell right back into the
Because you were
anxiety
helped at each
and
time.
apprehension.
Yeah, everybody was there that was actually helping you. in
Yep.
a sense.
Every
The
person.
gal with the cup of coffee and the guys with the jump starts and.
The patrol,
Yeah.
the highway patrol,
Was it
everybody
like you
was
were
there.
fighting?
Yes.
Oh.
Last night I was reading, and the part that I read was John talking about the creation comes from within.
Right.
And really, I mean, I know from my own experiences that it's a function of, being centered in those moments, because the biochemistry of our body limits our awareness.
Right.
So like when we just like get into the anger or the frustration or the anxiety, I don't even know if you can get to that level of awareness.
I don't know.
It's about really just getting centered.
I know that I would calm and then I'd go, right, make that plan. I have to get there.
Look, I
Like
know.
that, and so
It's a
it was a boom, 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 boom. It was a great lesson for me.
Well, I think it goes back to fight or flight, it's the same thing, you know, it's, okay, take a breath, centered, and then you're right back into the, oh crap, to, you know,
Right.
boom. And you forget everything else. Fight or flight is that, you know, internal lizard brain where you do whatever, right? And it's like, you're not thinking about anything,
No.
what's a kundalini, what's chakras, just go, get it done, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And that whole drama play, and the only way to get through it is to push through it and, you know, get to the end. But that whole taking a breath,
Right,
I have friends that I went, take a breath. I'll
Right.
show you how to get out of this. Really? Okay, okay. Okay. Take a breath, take a deep breath, okay.
So what's
Okay,
this
now
have
what?
to do with
Take another.
right. Just breathe.
Leaks?
Pardon?
What does this have to do with leaks?
What does this,
Leaking?
The-
Oh, your
the
plumbing leak.
The plumbing issue.
oh, what does it have to do with that? I don't know. I'm sure there's a lesson there somewhere, but I lived with it for a year. I had a little bucket under my sink. I didn't use that side of my sink. And when the plumber came up, he goes, look at that, there's a little spider in the drain. I said, I don't use that side of the sink. Because it leaks.
It was the spider that was making it, right?
Right?
I don't know. So why did I live with it a year? I don't care, because it didn't matter to me.
Hey, Kate,
It started with,
I'm just asking because of my own personal stuff, but did you feel that you had to fight everything and struggle with everything that happened to you?
On that trip,
Yeah.
no, at that moment, I felt more like I was at victim to the universe, you know, it was like, no,
This
not
was
this.
happening to you rather than
Yeah, it
bringing
was
you.
happening to me, and yet everything was a gift that I received from it.
Oh, my goodness.
Like even the pipestone was a gift in the end, and, but it was the reason I was late.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
so the leak started because you had made a comment about, did I cause the leak? And that was a year ago, so maybe you did, but then you segued into causing this journey. And my thought is, thank goodness you prayed at different places, or it probably wouldn't have flowed the way it did.
Yeah, I don't know, but what it says to me is that at the level of my awareness, right, at the level of my awareness, and to stay at a higher level of awareness, and to not let myself get drawn back into old patterns of behavior or old patterns of thinking when stuff happens, you know, like I was really grateful for the patrol officer that I didn't get a ticket, I got a warning, he was really sweet. You can speed, go 10 miles above instead of 22, and that was nice feedback. So,
We all know that.
you know, and so I feel like it was learning, for me it was a lesson in learning to recognize gifts. It was a lesson in learning how to slow down, to recognize the gifts when they materialize. Often we treat for something and things come into our awareness and we don't recognize them because we may not be open to receive. We may not be open to the awareness that, oh, this, what we asked for materialized or manifested in a different way that we weren't thinking. And that's the key, right? It's not the how, it's not what it looks like, it's the level of awareness that we hold. And what is that quality of God that you're really looking to bring into your heart, into your being? What is the quality of God, of the divine?
I'm just speaking for me, but I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through how many of us gone through so
Right.
many of this stuff. But once you've basically seen the elephant, once you've risen above and know all the things and stuff, it doesn't mean you don't get sucked back into the greed,
No.
the drama stuff. But it does mean that you have an internal awareness that maybe in that moment you're not aware of it, but your higher self is aware of it, and look at all that amazing stuff that happened to keep you out of, going to, a federal prison and all kind of weird stuff. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that could have happened.
I did not steal the pipe stone.
Right, right.
That
Well, I
would
mean,
be a
It
federal
wasn't
offense.
drugs.
In all in any event like that, all the things that kept you safe and kept you, oh, that's wonderful. Those things are being called, you're calling them, you're creating them, manifesting them in there, and the changes that you made internally are aiding that. So once you come up levels or wherever once you get this knowledge, you can't just stay in that, because
Right.
you start noticing, hey, oh, thank you, and then you pray in between and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Even though you're in it, even though crazy stuff going on, you still have that extra level of awareness, like, oh, but little stops in between all the craziness, and you go, oh. So,
Right. It's the difference between trying to make something happen and letting something unfold, I think. Yeah. Joey, you had your hand up.
Yeah, it's kind of piggybacking off what he was saying also, but a lot of things, like I notice when I'm in a low vibration, and once I get to that higher vibration, opportunity, like at the same time, everything just goes whoop. Like you literally open the floodgates and just things just pour in, opportunities, and you just meet people that you need, and it's incredible when you really, I love it, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Good.
one addendum, and it usually seems to be when you're in the drama, triangle, pyramid, whatever, or this traumatic stuff goes on, it seems the recovery period from all that, it's quicker and quicker and quicker, no
I
matter how
think
big
so.
it is.
I agree. So we don't make it happen. We know that it's already there, that it's already true.
And all you have to do is recognize it, right?
It's right. And we don't focus on the how.
Yeah, you just recognize it.
And let go. We know what we want or what we desire. We know the qualities of the divine that are present in it. And so it is, yes.
This is just a personal thing, but, when it comes to being on a higher plane and manifesting things, I think I've really gotten some really great miracles in my life. The things that I have the most issues with are health and long-term things, letting go of, a particular health issue, and I don't know whether it's my belief system or if those are the things that are just harder for me to manifest. So I'm looking for cues onto, how to make that transition.
Okay. Would anyone want to? One of the things that we've looked at a lot in this class and in others is the way we use our language. And because that keeps us in that frame of reference, that there's this issue back here that I just can't get rid of. And like we had talked about in the beginning, is that we trying to focus on what is going well. What are the positive attributes? What are the qualities of the divine in that circumstance? And then act as if, right? That's what they tell people in AA all the time. Act as if, and eventually, the real thing will follow and kick you in the butt.
Or maybe it's just being like caught in that well or something like that.
Right.
This is just a real simple example. Having the energy to do the things I need. It's really hard
Right.
to say, oh yeah, I have the energy when I don't. And to try to focus on the positive part is very difficult.
Right. The line is, and actually because that's what this step is all about, this kind of release, how do we release it when we have these secondary thoughts back here. The suggestion, and I think it comes out of the book, is that we make peace with the conditions and quit focusing on what we don't want. So if by focusing on the limitation, by focusing on, my rushing, that I'm going to be late, I was right on that edge of all of that. And the more we focus on that, the more I focus on being tired, the more tired I am. And so make peace with it, that it is what it is, and then focus on the quality that you want. That is what, yes, yeah. No, and so, and it's to step forward in faith. Let it go. make peace with it. So when we're letting go, when a lot of times people treat to like release of behavior, like smoking, right? I've had requests for that. And, you know, different things, you know, that they're behaviors, but really what's back of that behavior? What is actually going on, right? We always have things going on, always have things going on. But if we can recognize our reactions to the thing and see where that reaction actually comes from and acknowledge that there's fear or distress or worry and it's because of, I'm afraid I'm gonna, you know, lose my car or, you know, or my house, or I'm not gonna have enough food, or, you know, there was a time not that long ago that I only went as far as I could because I had the amount of gas in my car, you know. I knew exactly how much gas I needed to get to work, but I focused on that all the time, and that was all the gas I had. And I was like, when I went places, friends had to give me rides, right? I would meet them somewhere because I didn't want them to know, because I didn't want to buy into it all the way. So I was like, I'm not going to say I don't have money for gas. I said, I'll meet you at PetSmart, and then you can drive. Is that all right? And they're like, yeah, that'd be fine. We'll carpool. But I tried to hedge it, and until I just was like, I can drive anywhere I want. I have plenty of gas in my car. I know my car will take me anywhere I need and desire to go. Sometimes it felt like my gas tank the line never changed. That I would go for a couple of weeks and I wouldn't need gas. It was the strangest thing, strangest thing. But I believe it, I do. Yes, Joey, and then.
Just real quick, I have a little story. When I was younger, I was always, I was a sick kid. I always had strep throat, like literally every month. Like my mom has it all, and she's a nurse, so she's very like, And after about a year and a half ago, when I started really getting into this stuff, she doesn't necessarily understand this stuff, but the one thing that she knows that it works is because I just decided I wasn't gonna be sick anymore, and I don't get sick, and it's incredible, kind of like the gas, you know. Everything's always all right, and I don't get strep.
Right.
So it's really cool.
Good.
What does your mom say about it?
She just, you know, she
That's great.
kind of just flows with it. She's not against it, but you know, she just.
But nurses are like,
Yeah, because she wants to try and like justify things, you know,
Right.
medically. So.
Speaking to I think it's the arguing of the limitations, because the words have power. Words give power to our thought and and it's like, I love playing ball, but I always drop the ball. But I love playing it. I love tossing the ball, but I usually drop it. But if you keep putting that, I always drop the ball, well, you're just negating everything you said.
Right.
Completely. And it's reinforcing the negative, and your ego's going, oh, well, thank you, I told you, see, you know.
You didn't stand a chance.
Right.
Yes.
So, always make
Yes,
comments.
it's trying to get out of those negative, you know, especially when they're long patterns. It's hard, it really is. Wake up in the
I
morning
would
and say, oh, I'm gonna
suggest-
jump out of bed and
I would suggest that you meet with a practitioner, sit down and talk with them and walk it through, and then know the truth with them. That's what they're there for. We are there for.
So how did you shift your consciousness
When,
you know, you were talking about?
like the gas or
Yeah.
anything?
I mean, so what clicked, or what happened to make it click for you that it, things shifted?
Repetition. Repetition, honestly, that's some of it. And talking to people and seeing a practitioner, I go to a practitioner on a regular basis. And just to hold consciousness with them. Because I walk out of there, I can walk in like I did tonight, and I'm in a good mood, and I got plenty of sleep, and everything is unfolding well, but I'll still sit down and talk with a practitioner. But there were nights where all I could think of, because my mind, and the only way I could go to sleep until 3 more in the morning was, there's only one life, That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And I would say that over and over and over again until I fell asleep. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And even now I can start feeling it. It touches my heart because I think every one of us hit those places where we feel lost and not connected. I just keep coming back.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's my training. Just keep coming back. You just try again. You repeat it. You do it again. And one day you'll be sitting there meditating, and for me, I just started crying. Something changed. Something clicked. I was crying. I called up Barbara. I couldn't stop crying, and she was like, "Come in." She can be very maternal. And she was like, "Come in, Kate." And so I drove over and I walked in, and she was very empathetic, very sympathetic. And I sat down and I was like crying, and she was like, "It's okay," like that. And it was like, that's all I needed to go on. It was like just to know that it was okay to be a mess. Right? It is okay to be a mess. That's who we are. And then it was those were the things that clicked for me. And then also taking responsibility at the center, stepping up. Amy Steinberg posted something on her website once, and she said, she's like, "I am tired of this life, and from now on," it was just, if you know Amy Steinberg, you can hear her voice. She goes, "Now on, this moment forward, I step up, I take responsibility for my life. I step up, I take responsibility for my finances. I step up, I take responsibility for my spirituality. I step up, I take responsibility for my friendship. I step up." And she said, I step up and for everything that she desired in her life. And she just moved into it. And I copied that and pasted it and put it on a piece of paper, and I taped it above my computer. I step up and I take responsibility for my finances. It's kind of like what you're saying. I made peace with the things that I felt were off. And then as soon as I said I step up and take responsibility, things, like Joey says, start happening. You put yourself in the flow. Jane?
With the gasoline, where you knew how much was in your tank all the time, how did that lighten up for you? Did you just all of a sudden think, I'm not going to worry about running out of gas? And then suddenly you were okay?
No, I quit focusing on the gas tank.
You thought of other things.
I stepped up and I took responsibility for other things that I needed to do, and I was able to go everywhere I needed to be.
Very. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what
don't
you
even
focused
want to figure out how that gas was in that car.
Right.
I don't care. And now I don't care either. Sometimes I look down, it's like, oh. Oh. But now I have a newer car, and it tells me exactly how many miles I can go, and I think that's detrimental. I want to take that off of my display.
Runs on prayers. I think looking at it, it's like a lens. It's like you said with focus. What you focus on, and everybody's every different genre of this, what you focus on, you gas. What you focus on, you gas. Well, if you're focusing on the gas tank, of course you're going to play that game. But if you take your focus and be broad and general, which has worked for me, it's like you, the Dean Martin song, the positive and the negative. Somebody help me out.
Situated positive.
And that's it. And keep at it. Keep swimming, just like Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep doing it. Repetition, repetition. And you start using your focus. You can play the game with the gas tank. You can do the game, and then you start focusing on what the broader picture is. That just falls in line.
Right.
You know, everything just
Exactly.
falls into it.
Yes.
It's like Ernest says,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you turn away from the condition.
Right. Right.
Just turn away.
You turn away from the condition, but there's an acknowledgement that there is a condition.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But
think
you
it'd be.
turn away from the condition and focus on what you desire.
Right.
Dakota, did you have your hand up too? No, you were just, okay. Dakota and then Joey.
one of the things that I did when I was dealing with anger issues that would just come up, and they were just so deep-seated that there wasn't even I didn't even have a chance to go anywhere else. I can't explain it. But what I did is I actually used subliminals at night, all night. So and it was pretty amazing because, you know, I chose specific subliminals that addressed that issue within me. And over a period of like 3 months, things started shifting.
Right.
And there was that space, there was like that chance to take control.
Right.
So
All sorts of tools
that's an
out there.
experience I had that could
Yeah.
be.
It's good.
I mean, we kind of passed over it, but the thing I was holding was, sometimes I believe that I'll create things like, where maybe we do, to bring ourselves low to pick something up. I mean, sometimes I feel like our higher selves are like, you're not getting it, so we'll swoop low and then we'll go higher than we were.
Right.
And we'll pick something up. So
Challenges are the only way
all through my
forward.
life, I could look and just say, hey, okay, that makes sense. That's why I did that to myself.
Right. And then I think that we can come to a place where we don't have to learn that way.
Exactly.
That we can just sit
Thank
down
you.
with a really good book and go, wow.
I have that with
That's amazing. And that we don't have to like keep stumbling.
Mhm.
I think it comes to that point. I do. Were you gonna say something? Okay, you sure? Okay. Wow, this has been a great talk,
Yeah.
has it? But also know that I am, I want to use the right language, but there are many examples of how people, every one of us, have our own experiences in different ways about where we've stepped forward in light. And so I know that every one of you have it as well. It's not, I'm just talking in front of the camera, in front of you. So, but every one of you have that same capability. I just happen to be standing here tonight. So you're saying, how did you do it and how did you do it? But you're gonna find your own way, definitely. That's just my training because of my history, is repetition. Repetition. How many of you went to church as a kid? How many of you know the Nicene Creed? Right? Right? One day I was running and I was like, what is that? And I was like, I've been going to Science of Mind for like 15 years. And it was like, the hell is that? It was like, oh my God, it's the Nicene Creed. So, the right hand, God, Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. It's like, oh my God. That is in my frame of reference. And all of these things are in your frame of reference. So the more repetition you have, then the more you'll say, there was only one God. God's life is perfect, and God's life is mine now, and not that I sit on the right hand of God, Father Almighty, maker of heaven.
Where'd that come from?
Catholic? Were you raised Catholic?
It's all the divine. No, Lutheran, Calvary, just right underneath it. So,
Better potlucks.
it's good, but we all have that, right? Repetition in school, repetition, 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 repetition in AA for sure. So, you know what? We've gone a little bit long, so to do this now and then break in 15 minutes wouldn't work. So why don't we break now and come back and then we'll do these exercises. It's been a great class though. I mean, I love this. This is the way I learn. I love discussion. So let's take a break.
Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative.
Everybody got the love.
There you go,
does.
something like that.
Their stuff is still here.
So let's bring ourselves back. It's been a great discussion. Nina would like to share something and then we'll go forward. Yes.
So it's about whether you should be specific about your request or whether you should be open-ended. And this was several years ago. I don't think anybody's in the room that has heard this before. I was asking for a mate, for someone who was loving and kind and artistic and sweet and generous and warm
and I got a call from my middle son, Mom, can I come and live with you? So be careful what you ask for. Everything that you want.
Because you always get it, one way or the other.
Be precise.
Very funny.
Yes.
Precision.
Right,
Some precision, not necessarily how it comes, but, you know, what it is you want.
right, right.
You have to leave some of the ends open.
So that's right, because we don't do the how. So this is, this is the first three, I think I gave you enough. I didn't, my copier, my printer at home ran out of ink, so I'm hopeful that I have, that it made enough copies. Of course it did, you know how it was. But, do you? Is there an extra over there?
I actually need one.
You actually need one? Two. Okay, then you're gonna have to share, because I said 25 copies and it was spitting them out and then it was spitting out blank copies. I was like, uh-oh. So, if you can, so I'm gonna borrow Dakota's real quick. And if you can, yeah. So what we did was put the overall kind of a general recognition. I know that spirit is all there is. There is one presence, one power, one source of all. Spirit is everything I see, feel, touch, and sense, as well as that exists beyond, all that exists beyond my senses. I know that spirit is the creative force, the power, the love, and all the peace and joy in the entire universe. Knowing that everything is out there, then we did the identification. And because spirit is all there is, spirit must be what I am. Whatever spirit is, I am. As spirit creates all form, I create the form of my own reality. And then, knowing this is so, I claim for myself. So your job is to write an affirmation. I know that you all don't have the full sheet, but yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be a great idea. I've never done it on there.
I do it all the time.
Breezy's gonna make some more copies. So, your job will be to write, take some time and center, and write your affirmation. Write your Thanksgiving. And write your release statement. We're going to be working with release statements more and more tonight. So last week we did the other two, 3 and 4, and tonight we're going to focus on step 5. Do you want to review 3 and 4 more?
Actually, could I ask a question about 4?
Sure.
And there's on page 65, he goes, how are you grateful for that which you have declared, affirmed, and realized?
Right.
Are we talking about emotionally? How are we grateful? How are we grateful for the conditions of our life right now? Like, we're not just talking about, I'm grateful I have a car. Or are we talking about that? Is it more emotional or more materialistic?
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever way you perceive it is the right way.
Right.
Okay.
Like you might feel grateful for the presence of someone in your life, which is a feeling, and then you might be grateful because you have a vehicle that gets you places, which is also a feeling.
Okay.
So really, well, we think that we're actually grateful for the material thing. What's back of that you're grateful? What is the real thing that you can rest your elbow on the table? Are you grateful for the table, or are you grateful for resting your elbow?
The comfort and ease, yeah,
Right.
the table provides.
So that's when the very first class, I think the exercise I did was pick something inanimate and what is the quality, right? I think you chose a pen, right? Wasn't that you?
No,
that
I
just,
think I missed that one.
oh, someone chose discussed how the pen was like this quality of expression, right?
Right.
I could have sworn you were here.
Maybe I was in spirit.
Presence was here. Jake.
If I say, for realization, if I say, knowing this is so, I claim for myself a feeling of peace and gratitude as I make my way through my life. Is that too vague, or?
What is it that you've asked, what is it that you're asking for? What's the affirmation piece?
Well, I'm asking for a feeling of peace and gratitude as I go through my life. And rather than, you know, being uptight and all this kind of stuff, so.
Right.
So is that too vague? I shouldn't say something like, I claim for myself lots of money or something. That's
No.
Thank you.
I think that's fine.
You are.
It's, what is, thank you, Brucey. Thank you. Anyone, yeah. Who else? Was there someone else? Great. So, no, knowing that this is true, I claim this for myself. That there's a peace, yeah.
okay.
What's the quality of the divine and what you're asking for? What's those things?
Peace.
Peace.
Are we only focusing on one thing or multiple things or what?
It's up to you. This is your, this
Well, I
is
wasn't
your
sure.
treatment.
What the
We're
vote
gonna
was.
ask if you wanna share it, obviously, but, we just did the first piece. And we're asking you to fill in the next, work on that release statement, and we're gonna work up with those.
So, if my affirmation is for something I want to see in my physical reality, am I affirming for that, or am I affirming for the feelings that I think I'm going to feel?
Right, that's kind of the same question Jana's asking, that when you're doing the affirmation or the realization piece, what is it that you want? But what are the qualities of the divine in that you want? There's a specificity that can happen if you want a red BMW, 2016 red BMW, but there's qualities associated with that. Can you envision yourself sitting in the black leather seats with, can you see the mileage, the odometer turning over, the gas tank, or, always full, never this way, always full. And so, what is the quality of the divine in that you're requesting? Because is it really lots of money, or is it freedom, or security, or safety? Does that make sense? What does it feel like to have your bills all paid in full? We do that every Sunday, but
So
what does it feel like?
if we know or affirm for the feeling, it's gonna be a blanket, and it's gonna take care of
Right.
whatever the.
And that there's a free flow, that we know. I'm grateful for the flow of money in my life.
Yeah, we're doing it all, right?
Yep,
The
yep,
realization of Thanksgiving and the release.
yep.
Okay.
Because there's an assumption that you read the chapter, which many of you did, yeah. And we've been talking about it. We release it to the law, and to the law of mind, and then we don't ask how, we don't know how, we know that it's already there. And so there's different, I'll stop now while you're writing, is what I'm gonna do.
what you're asking for. You know exactly what you're asking for, right? Well, I'm asking for peace, you know,
Right.
and peace, and gratitude for my,
Right.
for my life. And you're grateful that you feel it? Yeah. And you know that it already is, oh, that it already is, you don't. So,
Right? Because we're gonna talk about that in just a second.
oh, sure,
So-
okay. Okay, and I just, that last line.
That last line, I just strike it.
Oh, I could modify, I could reduce my request to infinite and eternal. Right. You know, yeah, I could do that.
This is where we're gonna go next. And release your treatment. We'll take this more release. That's where I'm gonna go next, and that addresses exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, great, right, thanks. Well, I read this book about 10 years ago, so I'm stuck. Not that it's doing any good, it's thick.
We'll just take a couple more minutes and let people finish up that last step. Then we're gonna talk about that release step.
She gave me snapping my gum. I'm gonna stop, okay?
Guys, let's just wait till people are done. Okay. Everyone good with moving on, or would you like another minute? Okay. Pardon?
Nobody's answering.
No answer, so I'll move on. So the reason I have you write it, this is my method, and it worked for me years ago, is that we wrote it and then we talked about them. And then I could see how I phrase things that I may need, that I would maybe want to go back and rephrase. Because on page 73 in John's book, he says really clearly, the process of release accomplishes two distinct outcomes. This is the second paragraph on page 73. One, by releasing your spiritual mind treatment, you're getting out of the way and allowing the full potential of your realization to manifest into being. And then at the beginning of the next paragraph, he says, when you release your treatment, you are releasing the creative process into full expression. Two, when you let go of your realizations, you are creating a space in which your manifestation can and will fully materialize. But we have to let it go and walk away from it. Because we know it to be true. And if we know it to be true, then you don't want to go back and revisit it. You know it to be true. If you have doubt, if you have a question later, then rewrite your treatment. Something didn't work. There's two types of treatment, like John said. There's the affirmative treatment and there's the argumentative treatment. And if you have to do that, I know that this is, you know, all in its perfect right place, that you know, if you have to argue with yourself as the practitioner, then do that. Then you treat with yourself until you know the truth. And if you can't get there, then don't do it at that moment. Work with it until you know the truth. But, you know, practice makes perfect, right? Maybe you won't get a red BMW, maybe you'll end up with a used red Volkswagen, but it's gonna have the same quality of transportation, right? It won't have the same luxury feeling to it. Maybe you weren't really treating for that. Maybe you were really treating for transportation and you just wanted a BMW. However it unfolds for you, it's what the consciousness you hold and it's what you release into the universe. And so when we release, we just know that it's in divine law. And in the last couple of years, they changed that phrase. So you'll hear different practitioners use different phrases in our release statements.
Yeah.
I was taught, I release it into law. I release it into divine law. I know that the law of mind, I know that law, because it's all law, right? Principle is only bound, is not bound by precedent. And so that's the law, that we can change it. We can put anything into the law and it manifests. That's the principle, right? That's right. I know
So
it because Thomas Troward said it is true. And he was a judge. And he was an artist.
But they can't find his works.
So does anyone want to read their statements? Were you able to release? Do you feel like it was, is there something you would like to change? Do you want to read your treatment?
I can. It'd be great if everyone wouldn't mind, because I'd like to.
To hear people's?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, if people want to share it, then
Yeah.
share it, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'll read mine because I already read it.
Okay, Breezy's gonna do hers, and then you
Sure.
can do yours, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right,
All right, do you want all three steps? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay. Realization. Knowing this is so, I claim for myself that I am strong, fit, and healthy. I can move and do what I like, from dancing to hiking with ease and grace. Thanksgiving. I give thanks for my life and health and freedom of movement. Release. I release this affirmation and realization into spirit and law, and know it is already so, and so it is.
Yes, and so it is. Yeah. Good. Let's affirm people after they read too, okay? It's hard to read things like this, it's so personal. Yeah.
Well, realization is knowing it's so. I claim for myself a feeling of peace and gratitude as I make my way through my life. And in the Thanksgiving, I am grateful for the peace and thankfulness that I feel. And the release is, with this in mind, I release my request to the universal law that exists everywhere and that fulfills my request.
That's good, that's good. And so it is.
And so it is.
But, there's not a but. I would suggest in the release that you remove the word request, because then you're still asking. That you already know what is so.
So
As I release this into law, I know that this is true.
so I could say this, my statement,
My statement is true,
Or say a sense of peace.
with this in mind.
and that there is
my
a sense of
statement.
peace, right?
Okay, thank you, that would be.
Right, because we know it's done, it's
That's a good
happened,
point.
it's
Thank you.
already is.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah, let's not say the headers, let's just finish out the treatment. Okay.
Knowing this is so, I claim for myself deep inner knowing of what I truly desire in and for my life. The qualities and experiences that are important to me are known by me right now. I'm grateful for this knowing and how easily and successfully my life unfolds as I acknowledge, accept, and embrace my true desires. I release my word knowing it is true now, and so it is.
And
So
it
it
is. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
who else would? Yeah, Jen.
Knowing this is so, I claim for myself unending energy, inspiration, and perfect health. I know I can be and do whatever I desire. This brings me much pleasure and a constant inflow of new experiences and meeting new friends. I am so grateful for this perfect body and or vehicle that I have that brings me to all the events and experiences I'm having. I'm grateful for the perfect health and mobility I'm experiencing right now. I'm grateful for the ideas and inspirations that come my way, which I choose to experience. I know that as I release these things into the law, that they are already there for me in this moment. My life and health is complete, happy, and whole, and so it is.
And
so
so
it
it
is.
is.
Yep. Yeah.
Knowing this is so, I claim for myself a completely self-sustaining, successful, well-recognized, and respected international organization that provides a service of tremendous value. Through this viable company, I receive billions of dollars in yearly revenue that I will share generously with every person I encounter. My life is an extension of universal freedom as I am in complete alignment with myself as source. With immense gratitude, I breathe and release this truth into the law of universal abundance and love. I live these truths as complete gratitude, and I know this expression is mine now. For all thoughts and realizations belong to me as the infinite expression of God. I accept this knowing and set it free into motion. So it is.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Wow. And we're here.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, nobody's gonna wanna go after that, so I.
She dropped the mic back there.
Everybody wants to go after that recruitment.
Whatever. Knowing this is so, I claim for myself fun, joy-filled, loving relationships, and well-funded, adventurous, inspirational travel. I'm so grateful for the freedom to live my dreams and explore the country and the world. I easily and eagerly release these thoughts and words to the universe, knowing that it is already done, and so it is.
And
So it is.
Wow.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Knowing this is so, I claim for myself vibrant health with a strong, steady heart and lungs that breathe easily and deeply. I know that as God knows only ease, comfort, and joy flowing everywhere, I too know this freedom. In gratitude for the ease and comfort that God knows that I too know now, I am grateful for the love, peace, and joy that I, in God's mind, experience through this vibrant health. I know that as there is one mind, that mind of God that is infinite in possibilities, I release these words into the one mind where this possibility of vibrant health is formed, and I receive it as already done.
Lovely.
Well done.
So it is.
So, yeah.
So it is. Yeah.
Ooh, it's powerful to speak your word, isn't it?
Yeah. That's really good.
Anyone else would like to share? Sure.
Knowing this is so, I claim for myself security, support, ease, and comfort. The kitties and I are protected, taken care of, and provided for now and always. thank you for all of this security, support, ease, and comfort, which allows me to serve others more effectively. I now release this into the all of spirit, knowing with absolute certainty that this is true. And so it is.
And so it is. Good. Yeah. You're good. B?
I feel the presence of the divine within me, guiding me clearly in every area of health of my life and in complete health. Every action of my body is balanced, whole, and present now. I am so grateful for perfect health and strength in every system of my body after the divine pattern of completeness. I release these words of truth into the law that says yes to all that I desire.
Yes, so it is.
Nice. Anyone else? Drew?
What the heck? See if I can read my own writing. Knowing this is so, I claim for myself freedom from any guilt, limiting thought, or burden of my past. My life is boundless blessings and harmony. I am calm and clear as my genius freely flows in every way I express my joy. Wealth flows to me without effort or struggle in amazing ways. I am safe, whole, and complete. I walk in grace. I am divine love. Gratefully, I dwell within this great light of love, and I release my words into what is, and what is love as me.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it is.
And
So it is. Nice, that's good. That was a nice twist on that. So it is. That's great. Fran, you want to teach her? No? Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Since I asked everyone once.
Right? You're the one who instigated it.
Knowing that this is so, I claim for myself unbridled joy, an open, compassionate heart, the genius of my divine mind, and my fabulous and ever-flowing wealth. I give thanks and have deep gratitude that my joy and open heart touches all around me, allowing them to feel loved and one with the divine source. I am ever so grateful for the genius of my divine mind, that I can see and focus on the solutions to all problems and fully know that all experience is only a reflection of divine love. Thank you for my fabulous wealth that I invest wisely and share with others to make manifest our mutual dreams. I know this to be true, and I now release these words into the law of the divine. As co-creator in the power of the divine, I claim this truth in my life. And so it is.
So it is. And so it is. Okay? Good. These are powerful, aren't they?
Yeah.
I love it when everyone is speaking their word. So, who has something that you would like to work with tonight? Does anyone have? This is, I don't know if you all know this story, but when, what's her name?
Edwin Keynes.
No, it wasn't Edwin Keynes.
Gold, August Gold.
And when August Gold was here, and she was like, who's got an issue they would like to work on? And I've just been talking to her about, that whole issue with the gas and money. And she goes, no one said anything. This room was packed, right? And she's sitting there, and I'm sitting where Joey is, and she goes, she's got a problem. Actually, it was the best thing to ever happen to me. That changed my life, August Gold. Would you like to? Okay. Just tell us what the issue is offhand, and then we're going to work with that.
The Keynes and I have to move by the 5th.
Okay.
We don't know where we're moving to.
Okay. So, who would like to do the first step?
I couldn't hear her.
You can repeat it.
Can I repeat it? She says her and her kittens, her cats, need to move by the 5th of July, and she doesn't I'm sorry, tell me your name.
Lisa.
Lisa says that she and her cats have to move by the 5th of July and she doesn't know where they're going to go. And there is some concern there. So what we're going to do is we're going to have people come up. Come on up. You're good. This is awesome. This is one of the best exercises we do here. You're good. So who would like to do the first step of treatment? Someone. Come on. So the first step is recognition of all there is, right? And step 2 is aligning with that. Who would like to do step 2? You're the affirmation. Who would like to do the 4th step? Realization? Thanksgiving. Realization, affirmation, you got all of it. The Thanksgiving?
We gotta do the hands.
We may. And who would like to do the release into love? All right. So really take a moment now and you know what the presenting issue is. But what is the presenting issue? What is the presenting issue? We know that it's moving and your cats and you, but what is it that you would like us to know?
Security,
Security?
comfort, support.
What? Security, comfort, support. Okay. What else?
Shelter.
Shelter?
Home.
Okay.
Protection.
Safety.
Safety.
Yeah.
Peace.
Anything else?
Peace of mind.
Peace.
Pardon?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Ease.
Financial, everything works out financially, so there's that. Okay. Take a moment. And then each of you are going to do each step. And you're going to do the release.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So we'll need to speak loud enough so that Jane can hear everything that's said.
That's why I have a hearing aid, but it doesn't.
It's a great hearing aid. Thank God she have one.
Yeah, you should see it.
I know there is one God, one all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present God. I know that God has a home everywhere and is within us all. And through flowing through life, that God is
No, Jane, no. Let her take her own breath and hold it. You're fine, Arnie. You're fine.
And I know that God is perfect, whole, and complete.
Yes.
And I know that as God is in all that is, God is in me, and God is in Lisa. And I know that the powers of Spirit to have security and safety in my life and in Lisa's life are here because there is only God. And God as me, God as Lisa, creates no safety, security, home because there is only one. And I know this is truth.
I know that I am fully and completely supported, supplied, and provided for. And the kitties and I can relax and be at peace in our home.
And I give thanks for the wonderful home that's safe and secure for me and my cats, Lisa and her cats. And everything comes through smoothly and easily with ease. Long before the 5th where she has her deadline, so she knows where she's going. I give thanks for this,
And with love, I release these words to the universe, and where they will be fulfill with joy.
And
so it is. Yay!
all right. So what we'll do with this, that's great, everyone, excellent, really. And so go ahead, you can sit, and then, no. What we're gonna
Everybody
back you. What we're gonna do is also know the truth in you as the class. Like, that's an important exercise, and we're gonna do more of those tonight, maybe one more, but next week too. But tonight we're gonna do that we love you and that we know you are powerful and that all is well, right? And is that, everyone ready to get some love like that? Okay, let's do it. Okay, ready? We love you, we bless you, and we know you are perfect. All in full. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's a really hard thing to do. And it's hard when you're here and you realize what the issue is. And the truth is, every one of us know those feelings. So when we're never alone because it's one mind. And when we know the truth of what that is, that despair, we can rise above that and know the truth of what that is for everybody as well as for ourselves. Because when we give a treatment, when you're talking to a practitioner, they're really treating themselves. Because it's only one mind. Yes.
And every one of them has been there.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes more than once or twice, and knows.
Right.
They know it.
Right. And amazing things happen for us when we do it. Might happen for y'all too, but it really happens for practitioners. Everyone is a practitioner. Everyone should go through the training, actually. It just doesn't matter, of course, but it's amazing. So you see, it's a little difficult, but it's just being all of us, one mind. Would anyone else? Pardon?
Practice.
It's just practice, yeah.
And it's not difficult.
You're right, Diana, you're absolutely 100% correct. Would anyone else want to take the step forward? I know.
I don't want to take a step forward. I'm chicken. But the one thing Nina said last week to me, that my intellect got in the way. Because we were sitting here and we were doing the practice, and I did beautifully for whoever we were working with. I can't remember who were sitting here.
Melanie, she's not
Melanie.
here.
And so I said to myself, I can do it for somebody else, but I can't do it for myself. And Nina said, your intellect gets in there.
What?
Your intellect gets in the way.
Gets in the way.
When I'm trying to treat for myself. And the only thing I can say is somehow, and I think it's through Monday's classes, I set my intention to be able to really, really honestly feel the presence. Because I can talk my way blue into anything or out of anything, but that feeling of that real certainty that there is a presence within me somehow has sunk in. And to get out of my intellect, I will just go into that feeling, I'm getting teary already, that there is this presence that's in me.
Right.
And forget even the rest of the treatment, just going to that place that I'm not alone, that there is a real, can you see how I'm just trying to express it in some way? Once you feel that, it's just everything else, it'll come.
Right.
So I just needed to share that because that's been something really new for me. And
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Right. So part of what you're saying is to spend more time on the first step, to know the truth of the divine.
And really feeling this presence instead of in my head.
Right. Right. I think that's true. I think that is the absolute, I think that's the most important step, is
And
step one.
it's also trust.
Right,
Once you get that feeling, then I started trusting. Because before I was always hedging my bets.
right,
Well, because John
Has
said,
John done
if
that?
all you ever do is step 1 and 2, that's fine.
right. Right.
One is hard for me.
What?
Any other comments? Yeah,
For me, in a situation, any situation, if you go into that space and you remember that you're really who you are and you're in this divine space, divine love, and you've got this situation that you've been chasing your tail over and worrying over, blah, it's almost like you're not just removed from the situation, you get your perspective, but you're past it by time, and you're looking back like, how was I worried about? Look, I'm a little traumatized little thing over here. This will not only pass, it will come to this amazing thing, and it will work itself out in just amazing ways, and you're like, aha, it's like that aha moment, and you get it. You get it in your core.
when we get out of our way.
Yeah.
And
We'll get out of
when
our
we
way.
know the truth of what is there. There you go, there you go.
Yeah.
You know it's true, right? Any other comments? Okay, I do hope you all come back, even though I've threatened you with practice of treatment. We're gonna go about it in a slightly different way, but we're gonna do some more of the same. And we're gonna open the envelopes, and we're going to have, I'm bringing some things, and I hope other people do too, more of a celebration and.
You mean food? Are you talking?
Yes. Yes, I'm bringing some
Is it
things.
a potluck or?
If you, I wouldn't say potluck,
If you choose to bring something, you can, but you
Yeah.
don't have to.
yeah. And Bee's always being so generous, it would be nice if we contributed to that. Also, it would be very nice if people assisted with the cleanup and takedown of the kitchen before you leave. And we're gonna do the offering. One spirit, there is one love, and that love flows through and into these baskets, and in through and out of these walls, and in through in every one of us. And I know that the presence of the divine is everywhere. The life-giving presence of the divine, which provides everything that I am, and I know that I am one with that life. I know that when the trees breathe, I breathe. I know that when the water flows, that my heart opens up. I know that I am with that. I can lose myself in the sky and be found in the divine presence as it manifests here on this sacred earth. And as I stand here on the sacred earth, breathing this sacred air, I know that everyone present is standing on the same earth, and that it is sacred ground for each and every person that walks here, for everything that lives in the oceans, everything that is growing in our gardens and through the trees in the forest. And I know that this is true because that is where my heart is. And as I release this, I am so grateful for the gifts that come through. I'm so blessed with the knowledge of the sharing and everything that we have done here tonight, and the risks that were taken, and the love that is shared and felt. And I know that that is only manifested through the gifts that are shared. I know that one gift multiplies, and that is the point of who we are, that is the presence of the divine in each of us. And as I release my words into law, I know that this is true. And I know that it is acted upon, and I know that all is well in divine law, and so it is.
And so it is.
And with a grateful heart, with a very grateful heart for everyone present, and my knowing that all is well. Whew, God, there's so much energy here. With a grateful heart, I know that there is peace and joy in all movement, and I know that as we find our way to our homes this evening, that there is that joy that we experience from being together, and that we take that out with us into the world. And I say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And thank you.